And he's sorting the mail one day, and he comes across a letter, and it's addressed God. And there's no address, so he doesn't really know where to send it. So he just goes ahead and opens it. Inside he reads a letter that goes something like this. Dear God, my name is Johnny. Our father died a couple of years ago, and my mother's having a really hard time raising me and my brother. And I heard just the other day her say that she could really use $500. And I just thought I would write and ask if you possibly could send us $500. Well, it really touched his heart. So he went to the other postal workers and said, look at this note. We got to do something. So they all came together, and they were able to come up with $300, and excitedly they sent it back to Johnny, waiting to see what would happen. And about a week later, another letter came addressed God, Johnny's handwriting. They opened it up, and it was a very nice thank you note, saying, God, thank you so much for sending the money. Really appreciate it, so forth and so on. And then there was a little PS at the end that said this. But next time you send money, don't use the post office. They deduct $200. I mean, you gotta like it. You just said, hey, well, if I were the missing 200, there's only one way to explain that. And the point of the story would be, what percentage of what God's given us to work with as human beings is actually getting through? What percentage at a point in time, given whether it's athletics, whether it's business, whether it's marriage, whether it's just life in general, how focused are we? And the basic thrust of tonight's message is that we go through life as either lasers or rainbows. Lasers or rainbows. And you pretty much got the talk if you can hang on to that. The difference would be this. A laser takes some amount of energy, of light in particular, and is able to focus and harness it in a very powerful way. The rainbow also works with light. Exactly the same. But its light is distracted. Technically, it's refracted. And it's sent off in various directions. And it's never able to harness the full amount of what's there. And that's true whether it's sports, as I said, whether it's academics, whether it's business. The people who get ahead, and we're going to use the term the winning edge, one of the things we're talking about tonight is they have this uncanny ability to stay completely present in the here and the now, full released, and not get their energy siphoned off onto second things. Or to put it another way, the image of a table. You're playing cards, you're in Las Vegas, you need all the cards that you have. And at that table, you've got your cards, and most of the players are using their cards right there at that table. But other players begin looking around and saying, you know what? I think I'll take this card here and go over to this table and use it there. And then I think I'll take this card and go over and use it here. And these cards get taken off to other tables, and there's not enough cards to play the original game. And so what we want to talk tonight about is simply the idea of learning to harness the sum total of the physical, mental, intellectual, emotional energy that we have in the most productive ways. And Harry and I are going to kind of go back and forth on this. And we're going to start with an image, and I'm going to turn it over to Harry. And what we're going to call it is the ability to stay in the house. When I work with tennis players that I have for many, many years, and I'm working with a junior or college player, and he's played a match, and he comes off and we debrief about the match, I never ask him if he won or lost. Won or lost. I probably already know by kind of countenance and so forth. I always ask him at the right time this question. How well did you stay in the house? How well did you stay in the house? And the idea is simply this. If you can envision a house in the dead of winter, out in the forest somewhere, and there's heat, and there's light, and it's great inside the house. But if a door opens, suddenly you lose warm air, and cold air begins to come in. And the question is, what do we do to make sure that no doors get opened up so that the sum total of the energy and the heat and what we have to contribute at that point in time stays in the house, if you will, and doesn't get distracted? And we're going to talk about 4 different doors tonight that I think are the most predominant doors in terms of losing that laser-like focus. And we'll get started in just a second. Harry, you're up.
Yeah. Thank you. Is it okay if I don't use the mic?
No.
Sure. Thank you. thank you for having me, and thanks. I'm very happy to be here. I have long thought that